Hi, I'm Jamie Daly.
And I'm Darren Vincent.
And we are music group Daly and Vincent. We are so excited tonight to sit here with one of our very dear friends. She was a member of the White House senior staff under President Ronald Reagan. She also served 2 terms as United States Ambassador to Switzerland. She's also even had a rose named after her that we'll talk about in just a minute. But also she served as President and Chairman of the American Swiss Foundation for 20 years. And now she's Chairman Emeritus. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our good friend, Ambassador Faith Whittlesea.
Thank you,
Good to see you.
Wonderful to be here.
And we're aboard our cruise right now. Have you had fun?
I've had a wonderful time. The music is fabulous.
Well, we're excited to have you. You know, you helped us set up some cultural diplomacy, if you will, by singing in Switzerland at the United States Embassy at the ambassador's residence under, at that time, Ambassador Donald Byer, who is now Congressman Byer, and we had a big time. Tell us how important, and tell anybody that might be watching this, how important cultural diplomacy is.
Well, it's very important to maintain a good image for the United States around the world and to increase the number of her friends and decrease the number of her enemies. And that is done through diplomacy and through our diplomats from the State Department, through our military officers who serve as defense attachés in various countries around the world. But it's also done through our artists and singers who travel around the world acting as goodwill ambassadors for the United States. And you and Jamie and Darren performed at the United States Embassy residence in Switzerland. And the event was co-hosted by me, a former ambassador appointed by Ronald Reagan, and the current ambassador, then current ambassador, Donald Byer, who had been appointed by President Obama. And we invited all the leading citizens of the capital city of Bern and central Switzerland and all the dignitaries and elected officials, and you were outstanding. And then, of course, you played in a music festival there, and Jamie and Darren got 7 standing ovations for
who's
2
counting?
nights, 2 nights in a row, and I was so proud of you.
Thank you.
And the people loved you, and that's, I believe, what we need in the United States. We need to concentrate more on our artists traveling around the world, serving the people of the United States by making friends.
Wonderful. So do you think Darren's laugh is a goodwill ambassador? Oh,
Darren's laugh is popular wherever he goes.
It's good in any language.
In any language. Laugh and the world laughs with you. And Darren makes everybody laugh.
So I'm a former young leader. So anybody that wants to know about the American Swiss Foundation, give us a brief overview of what the American Swiss Foundation's mission is and what you guys do.
Well, the American Swiss Foundation was started 70 years ago, right after World War II, by some far-sighted Americans and Swiss who wanted to preserve the historic friendship between the United States and Switzerland through the private sector. This is not to supplant the efforts of the government officials, but to supplement them. So we carried on that tradition, and we started a program of young leaders, bringing young leaders from the United States to Switzerland every year for a period of a week. And you, Jamie, were selected by our board to be a delegate in the class of, I believe it was 2005. And Jamie made many, many friends in Switzerland and played in the biggest hotel in the capital city without any accompaniment, all by himself, and got a standing ovation. And
Jamie ate lots and lots of chocolate.
Lots of chocolate and cheese.
And cheese and bread.
And bread, wonderful bread. So you were a big hit. And ever since then, you've been an active participant in our alumni programs. It was, I guess, 2 years ago, you served as Master of Ceremonies
And Darren joined us. He did. He was
Yes,
there.
Darren joined us, and you were Master of Ceremonies in New York.
It's wonderful.
At our big dinner at the Union League Club in New York, our big annual dinner. And the governor of Wisconsin was there, and an important speaker from one of the big Swiss multinationals was also in attendance. And the audience loved you. You have a gift with people, a natural gift when you come before an audience, and you made everybody smile. And of course, Darren is always an uplifting presence.
I don't normally hear that, but thank you.
Especially from his wife.
Yeah.
So tell us, a few years ago, you asked the two of us to come to Washington, D.C. and speak and sing a few songs at the Institute of World Politics. What was your thinking behind that?
Well, I asked you to come because the Institute of World Politics, of which I served as chairman for about 6 or 7 years and a board member for 12, is a private graduate school of statecraft and diplomacy.
Yeah.
And very little effort was made to teach cultural diplomacy. And I had seen cultural diplomacy in action with your performances to packed houses in Switzerland, and I wanted you to come and talk to the graduate students there about your experiences traveling and singing around the world. So you and Darren came, and it was in the beginning a little awkward because the students had not heard anything like that before.
And probably never will again.
Or seen two hillbillies like us.
Bluegrass stars from Tennessee and Missouri. But it was an enormous success, and I remember some of the military officers who were students there seeking graduate degrees, when you finished, said, "Oh, couldn't you please come to Afghanistan and Iraq?"
They did. Yes, they did.
They were pleading with you to come and play and entertain the troops. And I explained to them that everything is done through the private sector,
Yes.
and you have a huge organization to maintain. And what is so extraordinary is that you are an entrepreneur. You're both entrepreneurs. You've started your own business. You have about 20 employees. You do it all on your own, and you provide employment for those families, and against tremendous odds, because you went through a recession.
Yeah.
When the price of gas was almost, what, $4 a
We
gallon?
We almost rode donkeys.
You almost rode donkeys. I remember hearing you say that you weren't sure you could make it with gas at that level, traveling around as you do on a bus.
And starting a new business at the same time.
Starting a new business.
It was tough.
But you saw it through, and I've seen your audiences, and I've seen you play at Carnegie Hall and at the Library of Congress, and the popularity that you've achieved is really quite extraordinary. And it's, but it's not only your popularity, it's what you've achieved as businessmen, as artists, you've exemplified the American dream of success. Two young men coming from humble circumstances, working hard, using your talents, and rising to the top of your profession. And everybody loves to see that. And that is the American way and the American dream.
The American dream, it is.
And you have lived it, and that's why I think we need to send you around the world so you can tell your story.
Thank you. Well, a few last questions, and I'm sure Darren has a question or two for you. Did you enjoy, just a quick answer if you want to, or as long as you want it, but did you enjoy being a United States ambassador? Did you enjoy that?
Oh yes, I did, especially working for President Ronald Reagan, who was my idol. And I had started working with him in 1976. So when he tried to secure the presidential nomination from a sitting president, Gerald Ford, and barely lost. He lost very narrowly. And then he went on to be elected in 1980. So I was with him during that period, and I served him in Switzerland, and my goal was to explain his foreign policies to foreign publics and opinion leaders. And because it was Ronald Reagan and we were at the height of the Cold War, there was much opposition.
Yeah.
And he was not well received, and people thought he was a warmonger. And so we had to work constantly to explain that in the end it would all work out, and it did. And he brought down the evil empire.
He sure did.
He brought it down and liberated the peoples of Eastern Europe and of the Soviet regime. So it was a blessed result.
Yeah. You have a book out.
Well, there's a book about me.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's called Backwards
In High Heels.
In High Heels.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've read the book. It's a good book. Where could people find that if they want to?
Well, on Amazon.com.
Amazon.com.
The author is Thomas Carty. He's a professor at Springfield College in Massachusetts. And that's a quote. Ginger Rogers did everything Fred Astaire did, but only backwards in high heels.
Yeah.
And actually, Hillary Clinton has used that quote recently, and so did President Obama. I thought, oh my heavens.
What an influence you have.
What an influence you've had.
Maybe they read my book.
Maybe they did. Maybe they did. So, Darren, did you know that they have named a rose after Ambassador Whittlesea? Can you talk just a little bit about that?
Yes, it's the Faith Whittlesea Rose, and it was named in my honor by the American Rose Society a few years ago, and I was especially honored because the rose is the American flower, and it was named the American flower by Ronald Reagan in 1984.
Wow.
I didn't have anything to do with it, but the rose that bears my name is a tea rose, and it's ever blooming and disease resistant. It's easy to grow, and it was actually an invention of two scientists from India who are horticulturalists, and they travel around the United States, and they're very active in the international rose societies.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So yes, it's a beautiful flower, and if you need roses in your garden, I recommend it in a moderate climate.
Did you know that they named a thorn bush after Daly and Vincent? Darren, I'm sure you have a question or two or anything you'd like to say.
I'd just like to comment. It's been a pleasure to meet you through Jamie, and you've been so gracious to us and helped us throughout the world, especially in Switzerland and Germany over there, giving us insight to their style of living and their culture. And it's really helped us tremendously. And over there and over here as well, letting us meet people that we would never meet. The circles of people that you're around are not our normal, what we're around. And it's because they go in different paths than the normal folks that we do. So I want to thank you for that, and it's been a pleasure meeting you and getting to know you. You're so sweet, and the only thing that really is a little edgy around you is when we start to eat at the dinner table, and you're always telling us how to sit and eat. I can't enjoy my meal.
Well,
you're a little rough.
I know you're going to be eating at embassy tables around the world, and I want you to have the best diplomatic manners.
I understand.
And that goes for the staff as well.
Well, no, but we're starving to death. We're trying to get it in.
It took Darren 68 minutes to eat a small bowl of spaghetti the other night. So. But I
have 10 grandchildren, and I teach them also.
Yeah.
It's an uphill struggle.
I bet they feel it's a blessing that you do that.
I will say that I want to thank you for teaching me those things through the years, because it has made a difference, and I'm glad to know those things, because I didn't know those things, and it's made a difference in my life. It's made a difference in our life to be able to be in certain functions and know the etiquettes.
Table etiquette
of each function, and we really do appreciate that. I love you like family. You've been a longtime friend and a mentor of mine, and we're so happy to have you traveling with us aboard this beautiful ship in the Caribbean. And Ricky Skaggs just got off stage, and Jimmy Fortune, the Statler brothers, will be going on with us tomorrow night, and it's been fun, hasn't it?
It's been a lot of fun, and your music brings me great joy.
Well, I'm
and your
happy.
friendship has brought me great joy, and I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you so much.
I was so proud of you.
One of my highlights on
tonight.
this, I'm sorry, on this cruise was when we were at the Grand Caymans.
Yeah.
And we were on the beach, remember?
Yes.
And she went right out, and she was this much in the water, swimming around.
I know.
I
saw.
loved that.
Well, I took pictures of you all, didn't
Yeah,
I?
I appreciate that. We're going to send that to TMZ.
And then I got burned like a lobster.
Aw.
But we're so happy to know this wonderful American woman and all that she has accomplished and all the great she has done for our country and its people. And thank you again for going on this trip with us and letting us interview you. Thank you.
Well, I wish you both every success, and I know you're going to be making music and making people happy for many years to come. And that gives me great pleasure to be a small
I
part
want
of
a hug. God bless. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, United States Ambassador Faith Whittlesea.